Hi, this is Corinne, and I am getting ready. I am here. I am alive. I'm no longer dying from the flu, and I am happy to be back. You may know me as Manic Pixie Girl on Twitter, or you may just know me as Corinne from Roll the Roll, or you may not know me at all. Whatever. I had a rough week last week, but we're here. And before we jump into a recap, I do just want to give some announcements. Firstly, I would like to thank Ryan at the Simulcray on Twitter for making the theme song that you were listening to before in our starting soon screen. I believe he still has open commission slots, although he is down a computer for a little bit. Okay, so he has one commission slot open. So with that one commission slot, you could maybe get some music. I'd also like to thank the Onyx Path for inviting us to run this show. If you haven't picked up the Scarred Lands Player's Guide yet, you can get it from these links I am providing in the chat. And then if you're looking for some of the newer content that we've been using, I recommend checking out Yugman's Guide to Gelspad Part 1. It is currently available, and there's more good stuff to come. They will be releasing segments, over the year. So here is the link to that. And while I'm linking that, I'm also going to be linking the area that goes to new playtesting content. If you click that second link, it'll take you to the new playtest stuff, which you can, use in your games and, provide feedback on to, make it better, or, just help it get in the game proper. Finally, the backer copies of the Scarred Lands Creature Collection have been sent out, but there is still time to pre-order and get the PDF early via backer kit. I'll provide the link here. So if you're looking for more creatures, which I know I always am, you can find those there. And, lastly, for real, if you want to help support our show, please check out our Ko-fi. As before, link is in the chat. Without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to my players. Introduce yourselves, tell us a little about your characters, and then we can get going with a recap. Start whoever wants to start first this time. I give you freedom.
Oh dear. Oh no, I spoke. I volunteered myself. Okay, I'm Hiromi. I play Zasa, the lizard wizard, who has the best hat in the world. I also wanted to take a moment to point out that even though Seattle is currently Plague Central and Emerald City Comic Con is not happening, there are at least 100 vendors who would still like to sell you things, and they would also like to make rent. And once I get Twitch to cooperate with me, I will post a link to a list of those vendors in the chat.
Thank you very much.
I'll go next. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
go for it.
All right. I'm Candy. I'm playing Kyloic, the halfling paladin, who known as the itty bitty tin can. She's loud and small.
And we love her for it. Alrighty, who's next?
I'll go. I play Shaho. I am the Manticore Kitty Cat Ranger. And yeah, that's me.
And last week you got enamored with a box you couldn't seem to find.
Sorry about that.
All
I'll get you a
right.
real one.
Last but not least for today, since we are down, Megan.
Hi, I'm Rune. I play this disaster of not a human, a disaster of an elf named Marigold, and I'm a bard. My name's Rune. I think I said that. I'm really tired. Hello. Spent the week with kindergartners. My brain's a little.
Woo-hoo. We all may be a little tired today. That's okay. We're here. We're doing this. And you didn't die last week.
Hooray, not dead.
Hey, not dead. So since I've been a little bit less on the, less than stellar side of healthy, do one of you want to give a quick summary of what you think happened last week? Or 2 weeks ago?
There was a box.
There was a box.
I was fabulous. I might have sang some things.
You did.
I greased up a serpent.
You did grease a serpent.
Sorry, I
Evan
lubricated.
yeeted one into the underbrush.
Yeet.
There was some eating that happened. So I think those may be the highlights. I mean, that's all that happened, right? You know.
That's all right.
We almost
Grease.
died.
Oh yes, yeah. That did happen as well. So beyond the yeeting of serpents and the greasing of serpents, there's a lot of weird serpent things that happened 2 weeks ago.
It's in the name.
Yes.
It is. There's lots of serpents in this game. I hate to break it to you.
Marigold tried to haggle a hag.
Did.
Yep, he did try and haggle a hag, which don't do that. Probably unwise. Okay, so basically what happened last week is you all managed to find your first Serpenthold. It was in the Warring Woods. And in the Warring Woods, you found these weird pillars that, as it turns out, were actually fingers. How fun. But, you know, as you sent the call out to Sina, you know, telling her, you know, hey, we found those fingers. I'm talking to the tree like you told me to. And, you know, you assumed she was on her way. But before she could show up, some enemies came out of the woods. There was some Asathi. And at first, Asathi seemed to have a hostage, an elven woman. But during the fight, I believe it was Marigold, tried to go and help her. And he discovered that she was not what she seemed. The once average-sized elven woman was actually an incredibly large hag of reptilian origins. She, you know, was hoping you wouldn't find her out that soon, but you did. So she attacked, which unfortunately was kind of a lot, considering you had already been fighting for a while and nobody had time to rest or anything. If you hadn't figured her out, she actually would have attacked you later, but you might have had time to heal. It's kind of like, I don't know what was better. She would have had time to prepare better as well. So could have gone one of two ways. As the fight was looking grim, we had 2 down. Caravan was down and Kai was down. Marigold did try to bargain with Riasa, the twice scorned. But I highly encouraged the player not to do that because that's the bad idea. But it turns out Sina was on her way and very close by. She was able to try, basically stop Riasa from fighting. Riasa tried to get away, but as she was trying to get away, Zasa did something a little bit tricky. What'd you do, Zasa?
So she tried to empower herself to escape and make herself faster and fleeter of foot. And I took those magical energies and I imparted them into one of our friends instead.
Which basically stopped her in her tracks, because she, with this many people around, she can't really run that far. That's basically where we leave off. Starting back up, you see that Sina, you know, seeing that Rias is not actually booking it, she goes and she does the thing, which might be a thing I did last 2 weeks ago. I honestly can't remember, but I'm going to do it again. She does this. She casts spike growth. Oh, and Bevan, if you want to switch us to the map, that would be great. So she casts spike growth, which basically, as Rias is trying to run away, not as fast as she thought she was going to be, the spikes around her start to grow, making the terrain much more dangerous. She's already injured. She can't really get very far. And let me just see here. Yeah. So she, because she didn't really have time to react to it, she is going to take that damage immediately. So let me just roll that real fast. She takes 5 damage, which, considering she was already at basically, 0, and still trying to get away, puts her into the negative, and she collapses. The forest shakes with basically the weight and the amount of her, because she's quite a big lady at this point, and it tremors a little bit. You see that Wisha, basically the only remaining Asathi, is like, he's trying to sneak away, but I think that's going to yes, that won't do an attack of opportunity because Caravan is down. So is anybody going to try and stop Wisha before we do anything else?
Was Wisha still at max HP?
Wisha has not max. He's looking pretty beat up. He looks like he's 1 to 2 good hits away from going down, or he'd be stopped another way.
He took away my box.
He did.
I'm gonna fire an arrow.
Go for it. We are not technically in initiative right now, so do what you do.
Similarly, Zasa will fling a glob of acid and tell him to stop.
Okay. Fling that glob.
It will be DC 13.
DC
Dex.
13? Okay.
I will say something mean, like, "You're ugly." I'm pretty beat up, so that's all I got.
You're all very tired at this point.
Vicious mockery, DC 13, please.
Okay. So here's the dex save first. Dex save. Okay, so he succeeded the dex save. Is that half or nothing for that acid splash?
I think it's nothing.
Nothing? Okay. And then
Yes.
that's a wisdom save. Let's see how wise he is. Oh! Wow, look at him go.
He's got good self-esteem.
He's like, your mom is ugly, and he keeps trying to run.
So he has 4 piercing, and then he reduces poison, right?
Yes, he does. So he gets half that poison damage, whatever it is you roll. So you might still take him down.
Let me roll for poison.
Or get him close.
Let's see, 1d4.
Yeah, I believe they're D4s. Okay, so he just takes 1 damage. Basically, he is limping out of here. He's still going, but he's limping. He runs off. He makes it away from you all. But I mean, he's not. You could definitely pursue him if you like. But it seems like he's not going to make it far. But, maybe he's going to go heal himself. It doesn't seem like he's going to be back to this fight. It looks like he is, he's seen Riasa go down. He is getting the hell out of here.
That's fair.
So that's what he's doing. You can totally follow him. You can keep trying to follow up, but you do have 2 party members down.
We need to
Zasa's
recover.
not following.
Yeah, I'm going to stay put.
Okay. Alrighty, so let me get him out of here. All right, so as all that was happening, as you were dealing with Wisha, who was trying to book it, you see that Sina has gone up to where Riasa collapsed and is binding her. Some of it is using like the ropes that were already there from when she was faking it before, but some of it seems to be some stuff that Sina has herself. She is it's not like she was prepared to tie someone up, but she has enough supplies to be like, well, I guess this works. You're very large. I'm trying to figure this out as I go along. And then something kind of strange happens. You notice that after she's tied her up, she leans down and she seems to be listening to something that Riasa is saying. It's not very loud, though. Does anybody want to roll to see if they can hear what this is?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Zasa, you think she's asking for pizza?
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Marigold,
yikes.
you think she would prefer some tacos?
No, I think it's about tacos, actually. What is tacos?
I see.
I don't know what tacos are.
Okay, so neither of you exactly hear it, but you then see that Sina whispers something back to Riasa, and then finds a way to bind her mouth so that she can't call for help or do anything like a magic spell using her words. But then Sina stands up. She's looking grave and kind of embarrassed, if that makes sense. As she, steps aside, she comes up to you all and she's like, I'm sorry it took me so long. Here, let me help your friends.
Please.
And
Yeah.
she goes up to Kai first, and let's see what Sina has here.
Zasa attempts and probably does not actually succeed in helping.
Zasa's like standing by, like, oh, I've seen this happen before.
Yes, an arterial wound. Yes, that's quite fatal. You should do something about it. I'll just watch and take notes.
Okay, so Sina lays a glowing hand on Kai's forehead, and suddenly 7 HP are back.
Ooh.
Hey.
No longer dying. And then she goes up to Caravan, and instead of using a spell, she uses a potion. Gently, tilting Caravan's head up, pouring a potion, down her throat, and making sure she swallows it. You slowly see Caravan wake up. She looks disoriented, but she's okay. She we'll say she gains 5 HP and is that didn't add it. No, add. There we go. Okay, I was fighting with my keyboard. So she is upright. She looks kind of like she's still mad from the fight, but she's no longer raging. Because I can't remember if she was raging when we left off, but she definitely got knocked down and did not get up again. Alrighty, so as now that you're all standing, you see Sina kind of goes and stands in a clear part next to the fingers. But before she even addresses that they're there, she kind of calls you all to gather towards her to come kind of stand near her, so she can talk to you a little bit better than having everybody scattered around with bodies of Asathi everywhere.
I suppose I'll go over. Still bleeding all over my silks. Ugh.
Glad to have you back, Kai.
And I get up slowly, and I have this big smile on my face. I hurt. And kind of shake it off a little bit. Still definitely in pain, but
Well,
Big-
I'm glad nobody's dead.
smile on my
Well,
face.
you're certainly a cheery one. I'm glad to see that you're up. I'm happy to help. I really am sorry that it took me so long to get here. I didn't realize she was here. I would have pushed harder to reach you sooner. I honestly think the trees around here may like her better than me. They have a long memory, But anyway, please accept this gift as an apology.
Gift.
And a gift, yes. And then no strings attached. It's not much. It's just, something I picked up. But I feel bad. I really do. And she produces a small box out of her bag.
No gift.
Box?
Yep. It's a small wooden box. Probably not large enough for you to sit in, but I'm not going to tell you no. And she opens the box, and inside is a set of rings that are bound together in twine. There is a little tag on the rings. She holds the box out to you, so you can, so one of you can grab the set of rings and take a look.
Zasa, this seems more like your wheelhouse.
Well, that's not a great roll, but
Hey, it's all right.
yes.
You're still able to take a look. What you see is it's pretty much what it says on the tin, or in this case, on the little slip of paper attached to them. These rings specifically are called Disposable Rings of Protection. There's a little note that says, best if used within 1 day of separating. Surprisingly light, these rings are made of a laminated particle board with fake gemstones made of resin and food coloring. They're often sold in packs of 3, but there seems to be one extra here. There's Yep. So there is 4 of these. There is, one missing, so you will have to figure out, which one of you gets
It
these.
took me way too long.
But they are real. You gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws while wearing this ring. Once activated, the effect only lasts 1d4 days. After that, it becomes a non-magical ring. So there are 4. Each of you, for now, can have one. When Megan gets back, I'll see about getting her something special. But you all get these fake rings.
Thank you. I think these are dreadfully tacky. You know what? Kevin, you take mine. I will not be caught dead wearing one of these. Thank you for your thoughtfulness.
Well, I honestly, I feel incredibly terrible. This isn't what I expected, and I know that.
What exactly did you expect sending us into a haunted forest full of angry fey creatures?
I didn't expect her to be here.
Oh, okay. So.
It's, just the forest itself. You seem capable. I wasn't, putting anything undue. I thought you could do it. I had faith, but I didn't realize Riasa was around. And, she's a lot. I don't know if you've noticed. And it's, you're definitely not at the level where I would have expected, young adventurers such as yourselves to be able to defeat her at this time.
Is she still tied up?
Is she?
I look over.
You do see her there. She's still mumbling something, but her mouth is covered.
So if I go over there and slit her throat, is anyone going to stop me? Or is that just something I can just go do?
I would really prefer if you didn't. I need to take her back to the proper authorities.
What are they going
Zasa
to do?
would like
Slap
to make
her on
sure
the
that giant python is either
Oh.
still all slicked up or turned back into a staff.
It is a staff now. As Riasa fell, it did turn back into a stick. It's now a stick. Don't worry.
Zasa has a stick.
Oh, you want to keep
Alright.
that?
Oh, now you have a snake
Not only that, Zasa will cast Identify on it, even though that uses a spell slot and probably doesn't actually teach her anything.
You're right, it doesn't. It seems that this staff is pretty average. It seems like any other staff you've seen, but what you do notice is that you think whatever happened to the staff is some spell or effect that Riasa herself knew. It is something that you would probably be able to figure out what it was if you did some research into it, and you might be able to learn it yourself.
Research, you say?
Yes, definitely research for you. So yeah, you think you could one day turn a staff into a snake? You just need to figure out how. So you see that, Sina is kind of wringing her hands. She wants to let you, in theory, kill Riasa. It would be simpler. But there is a certain hesitance. I understand you wanting to take it into your own hands. I do. But she has information that we may need, and I can't let that information die with her. She could be a valuable resource in, finding the rest of the pieces. People like her are drawn to them, and if we kill her now, we lose that resource. I have information, but I could certainly use more, and my superiors really would prefer to have her as a resource instead of just another corpse.
And what makes you think she's going to tell you anything?
Well, there are always ways to get information from those who wish not to give it, but she and I do have a bit of a history. I may be able to appeal to her on a more, person-to-person level.
Oh, so you're friends, or were?
We were, yes.
And why should I not stab you? Out of curiosity.
It was a very long time ago. She wasn't always like this.
Corruption, tragedy.
Exactly. It's not really a story I would wish to tell, but
And it's not one I really
exactly.
care about. We almost died. Do you mind if we leave? Are we done here? Sorry to be rude, but Kai and Kevin almost bit the dirt. And I almost gave up my voice for something I don't even really particularly care about.
Yes, no, to the point. Give me one moment, please. She turns around and steps over here. She doesn't seem to care at all about the fact that the ground is poisonous where she walks. And you see her casting a spell that may look familiar to you. It seems to have the same components, the same, somatics, as an enlarge reduce spell. But it isn't, there's something a little different about it. It seems like it, has maybe been souped up. Someone's tinkered with it. Someone's been, doing a little bit extra here. And you see the fingers themselves shrink to a more manageable size. Probably I'd say, about this big instead of, massive monoliths. And then she does something else, which you probably haven't seen. It is a sphere of shimmering force encloses the digits. They kind of are enclosed by like a little field, and then they float upwards. They kind of glide to then float beside Sina, seemingly guided by her thoughts. She doesn't have to make any motions, and they move along with her. Once this has been done, she turns back to you. I really do thank you for this, and I do apologize again. I was not trying to send you to your deaths, and I hope that we can still have a positive working relationship. There's loot abound to be had here. You adventurers are interested in that, right?
I like living.
I like information.
Like payment.
Well, there is payment here. I don't know if you've checked the undergrowth or even some of the undergrowth you got rid of earlier, but I'm sure you'll find something very interesting. And you see that she actually points to the ground, and you see that there is an ornate spyglass kind of like amongst the foliage that's all around there. It looks expensive. It is broken, the main lens is cracked, but that's only one of the many things that is probably in this undergrowth. And you see her point again, further away from you, and you see that there is a really nice looking cloak that is snagged in the trees nearby. It kind of looks like you're not the first adventurers to wander here, nor the first adventurers to almost die. Just these ones actually died. So if anyone wants to give me some investigation checks, we can see what else you find.
It's not a bad roll.
Hey! Okay. Okay, Marigold, you have rolled the best so far. So one of the things you find is, I keep misplacing my loot doc. Okay, so you see that there is a pouch on the ground near the entrance to the clearing. It was in the area that you had, that most of the ivy had been destroyed. But it looks like whatever this pouch is made out of, it's sturdy. It was, in some way resistant to the effects. So this pouch itself may be worth something. But as you get closer, you also see that there is kind of gold scattered around the pouch. Do you reach out to grab it, the main pouch itself?
No. What I will do is call Zasa over to have a look at it first. Reaching into poisoned underbrush seems like a stupid idea, and Zasa has the means to clean the poison off of the plants. So, Zasa, darling, could you come look at this, please?
Sure.
Alrighty. So what you are able to see is it's definitely there. And you do notice that there is a glint of bone nearby. The pouch itself is kind of wedged into the jaw of a skull. And the jaw is agape with that pouch inside of it. Beside it and slithering through the eye holes of the skull is a deep green snake. you can definitely get this pouch out, but it does require a reflex check to avoid aggravating the snake.
Right. Well,
Alternatively, Zasa begins using prestidigitation to sort of cycle through food scents. Like first starting off with like, actually,
I could make a mouse or something. If you like.
Okay, Zasa doesn't know what they like to eat, but
I'll minor
she
illusion
makes
a
guesses.
mouse.
Okay. The snake is a snake and it believes you. It sees the mouse, slithers out of the skull, and the pouch is yours for the taking. Once you grab it, there is inside this heavy duty pouch, there is 250 gold pieces, and scattered around the skull is 25 additional gold pieces. You also see a couple of sapphires and rubies, just some precious gems that you can put down. They'd probably be worth, they're not super big. I'd say maybe 10 GP, for 2 or 3 of them. But it's, it's a fair amount of money to just find laying on the ground, I'd say.
Oh, that's fair. There's 5 of us, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me do some math real quick. I can't fucking think straight. Jesus. How do division, guys?
How do math?
You said that there was also a cloak.
There is a cloak. There's a cloak in the trees just outside the clearing. Are you going to approach the cloak?
Sure.
Okay. The underbrush is pretty thick, but it doesn't seem like there's anything dangerous out here. You don't spot any, dead adventure or anything like that. But what you do see is that there is a like the design looks very similar to the Asathi you were fighting earlier. It looks like this cloak probably belonged to one of them. It got snagged when they were trying to get through the woods. They ditched it because they were in a hurry. And would you like to analyze the cloak?
Yes. Religion?
Yeah, you could do a religion to find out a little bit more.
My history is Arcana, religion, and history are all things that Zasa does equally well.
Then do Arcana. We can tell you what the cloak is. Oh, nat 20. So you know that this is a cloak of protection. And that, the designs on it do match the designs of the followers of Mormo. So if you're going to be wearing it around, don't wear it in a city, because people aren't going to like that very much. But, if you're out adventuring, it's going to be a very useful item, and it might work as some sort of disguise if you need it. So a +1 cloak of protection that specifically has basically like a seal or design reminiscent of Mormo on it. And then, is anybody interested in the spyglass?
I want to look.
Okay. So, you do see the glint of the spyglass. It is among the kind of like the most poisonous area, still the part where there's the most plants. How do you think you're gonna try and grab it? Are you gonna make sure you have gloves on, or something like that?
I'll take off my leather vest and I'll use the leather vest to pick it up.
Okay, that definitely works. So yeah, since you're not touching the spyglass itself, you're not touching the underbrush. You don't have to worry about the poison. You will have to wash this off. Otherwise, handling it's just as poisonous as your arrows were. But when you reach down to grab it, you see that it's actually clutched in a skeletal hand. It seems it was probably the hand of a previous adventurer who fell prey to the poison. With a broken lens, it is worth about 100 gold. Does anyone want to roll any checks on it?
Actually, I don't have any skills that would do with that.
And I don't know if nature investigation would be the only other thing.
I think you can do investigation might tell you something.
Nope.
Just for being knowledge, like actual specific knowledge trees for like knowledge, oratory.
I think that
that?
this would just be. I think you could do an Arcana to find out more about this. You could do a Zasa with the
Also,
Arcana.
What does this do?
Yeah, no.
So Zasa, taking a look at this, you can tell that even though it's broken, it has a magical aura, and it's rife with divination magic. With a cracked lens, it seems unable to function, but it looks like this has some sort of magical properties that you would need to get it fixed to figure out more. But it is still, just a really nice spyglass if you just wanted to sell it. So it really depends on what you want to do with it. So either it's worth 100 gold or maybe it's worth something more.
I'll take my water skin and I'll rinse it off.
Good idea. You rinse it off. You're able to kind of like wipe it clean, with some spare cloth. And then it doesn't seem like it would probably be safe to touch now. You've wiped off most of that poisonous oil, and it's probably good to go.
I want to try to look through the broken piece.
Okay, so you put it up to your eye. You do see there's a big crack, and although it seems to make everything glow just a little bit, it's not really doing anything. It's just everything looks really pretty and glowy, and it looks kind of kaleidoscopy because of the broken lens.
I like this. It's cool.
I think it's fixable.
I would like to fix it.
I would also like to fix it.
Do you want a closer look, Sasa?
Sure, thank you. I think that this is shiny for both of us.
All right, so you're definitely sharing that. Beyond that, you are able to search the Asath that you were fighting. You're able to find 2 serpent steel scimitars. These are the scimitars that were the ones that seemed to poison you on a hit. This greenish tinged metal has been favored for centuries by Asathi. It is an alloy of copper, tin, and snake venom, all crafted using a highly secret alchemical process. Class D and mages have yet to uncover the secret of forging serpent steel, despite their best efforts. But yeah, it's a well-known item, but it's not something that's necessarily easy to get because only certain people know how to make it. But you do see them fairly frequently among Asath. Once per turn, a creature hit by this weapon or ammunition takes an additional 1d4 poison damage. So you have 2 scimitars of this material. You also find 10 gold pieces, 5 vials of an unknown poison. Even if you roll now to test it, you wouldn't be able to find out much. You would have to do so during a long rest before you'd get more information from it. And then there are 2 grappling hooks with 60 feet of rope, which seems a little strange.
I definitely want a grappling hook.
1 grappling hook to Shaho. And then there's a string of pearls worth 5 gold. It seems like they're probably looted from a nearby farm. And then there's just, some standard trail rations, probably enough for all of you if you were to not go back now. So you could keep adventuring with what you found. It seems that, let me see here, from Riasa, although, you're not all searching her body because she is still living, you do get the staff, which is a worn quarterstaff, like Zasa, it was explained to Zasa. There's anything particularly special about it, but it does have the promise of whatever spell was cast on it. You might be able to bring it to someone who can test that sort of thing to find out more. And then, what else do we have here? As Sina actually goes to, search Riasa down, she does pull out a pouch. She weighs it in her hand and then tosses it back to you. Who catches it? Marigold? All right. So you find that there's 100 gold in here.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yep. And then, let's see. She pats her down. Sina keeps 2 daggers. She does not give those to you. She just kind of sheaths them in her belt. And you do see that Sina touches a locket that's on around Ryasa's neck, and she touches it, but she doesn't take it from her. She just kind of, does like a gentle like, oh, and then, doesn't take it off. And then that's about it there. So after all this, mindless looting, Sina approaches you again. And she's like, I do hope that this was enough payment for you. I know I didn't have much myself, but I hope this suffices.
I'm satisfied.
Does soften the blow a little bit, so I think we need to get everyone back somewhere civilized to recover.
For sure.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you saw that Ryasa was mumbling something.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she specifically was saying, Mormo calls me to the pass. I'm worried that if she's getting this message, she's being called, others like her are as well. And I don't think there's anyone quite as powerful as Ryasa in the area, but the longer we wait, the more will come. It won't be a quick journey, but it will be one you will have time to rest on. I hate to ask, I really do, but can you go to the Gascar Peaks?
Oh, man.
I don't think, but I'm ready.
I do love your spirit, Kai.
Fine.
Marigold.
Do you have another potion that you could perhaps lend us?
Yes, of course, you are quite hurt. Yes, hold on. She goes and you see that back in the woods there is like a bag that she had set aside before she joined the fray, and she digs around in that bag and she pulls out 4 more vials of potion. And she hands them out. They look like pretty standard health potions. You'll still probably have to take a short rest, but you at least have something to bolster you. And she actually steps aside to Caravan, and her face is pretty grave. Caravan, I know you would. You would probably prefer to go with your friend, your mentor. I know you and Zasa are close, but I need to take Ryasa back to my superiors, and I would appreciate having a little extra muscle with me. I am alone, and if she tries to escape, well, I can fight her, but if I just don't want to be unprepared. I was already unprepared for her once. Do you think you can come with me and join up with the party later? They can I'll be able to find their location for you. And Kevin, thinks it over. And then she's like, well, you know what? Sure. And she's like, yeah, why not? I'll go. And she decides she'll be going with Sina to take Ryasa back. But before she goes, she does say goodbye to everybody. And she's like, I will totally miss you. I know we don't know each other that well, but it's been fun. I would have liked to, die less. But we can work on that. And she pats Zasa on the head.
Don't forget your meditation exercises.
Oh, I will. I won't.
Be careful.
Hmm.
And then, she hangs out over here with Ryasa while Sina gives you a little bit more instruction. I do appreciate you going, and I appreciate you, not minding that I borrow your companion, as it were. I hope you don't mind. She'll be back, I promise, in one piece. No dying, I promise.
Well, don't make promises you can't keep, but
Well,
I assume she'll be in good hands.
Oh, yes. It'll be a quick trip. She'll be back before you know it. And hopefully you'll have another piece for me, and we'll be able to make a lovely trade. That sounds bad. I am not holding her hostage for pieces. It is just, that came out poorly. She seems kind of flustered, but she legitimately does not seem like she's holding your, teammate hostage by any means.
Better not be.
But before she goes, she does ask if you need any additional information. Do you know where the Gascar Peaks are? Do you know
I?
what you're looking for you?
I might.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever been that
Let's
far.
do.
Yeah, roll some. I'm trying to think what makes the most sense here. I'm kind of mixing. I'm kind of mixing up Pathfinder and 5e here, like what a knowledge is. Yeah, roll a nature for me, Shallow. That makes the most sense.
No, I don't. I've never been to that area. I have it confused with someplace else.
Maybe you're distracted by that box the rings came in.
Yes, I have my nose in it, actually.
Oh,
That's adorable.
let's see.
Zasa
Zasa
knows many of the events that happened there.
Yes. So Zaza, you do know the history. You're not necessarily exactly certain where it is, but you do know that. Let's see. The Gascar Peaks were once a mountain range that were mighty enough to rival the Kelders, but the peaks suffered immense damage during the Divine War. They are now broken and battered in some places and flattened into like basically hills and broken rubble in other places. It seems like it's basically like a destroyed mountain. It's still mountainy, but it's not as tall as it once was. Let's see.
Mountainy, not mountainous anymore.
Yes, mountainy, not mountainous. So Sina's like, yes, that's correct. It's a treacherous area. But most people prefer to go around it than to go through it. But I worry that specifically Mormo is calling her followers to the pass. Specifically Murmur Pass. It's incredibly dangerous. I don't know how much you know about it, but if anyone would like to roll another nature or another history.
Let's see.
Marigold just standing nearby with a map.
I am familiar with Murmur's Pass.
You are. And Marigold, you too. Okay, so let's see. What you know is that Shaho, you know that Murmur Pass is a direct route through the Gascar Peaks. Unfortunately, the passage's unique geological formations combined with some sort of unknown local magic creates dangerous conditions for any traveler who causes sonic dissonance of any type. You know that even the tiniest whisper or the clatter of a falling pebble is amplified into a raucous, ear-splitting bellow.
Zasa.
Marigold, what you know is you know exactly where this is, but you also know that you wanted to go there for a very long time.
Oh, yes.
You haven't been there yet, but you've been doing your research. You know that this area is incredibly environmentally hazardous. It has a heightened risk for permanent hearing loss, rock slides, mudslides, and other terrifying phenomena. But you are just dying to see what your pipes can do here.
Oh, yes. Chaotic bard energy intensifies.
So you, I assume, relay your information. Marigold is giggling madly, cackling, if you will. Sina looks disturbed. I do hope you'll take this seriously and be careful.
Science is always serious.
I have some experiments of my own I'd like to conduct if you would be so kind to assist me, Zasa. Why didn't you say it was up in the Gaspar Peaks over there? Of course we'll go.
Well, I didn't know you were
Murmur's
interested.
Pass is dangerous, guys.
Oh, come on.
Well, for
I don't have anything eloquent to add to that. I was just
How-
making noise.
How dangerous? Would you say not dangerous at all, slightly dangerous, moderately dangerous, very dangerous, deadly dangerous, 100% danger?
I'd say if we're not on our toes, maybe deadly dangerous.
Interesting.
But if we are smart about it, maybe only very.
I think that is a very, very astute, summing up there. I think knowing where you're going, knowing what you're doing, and how to avoid, the worst things that happen there are your best bet. You shouldn't find many enemies, as it were, not yet. If we wait too long, there will be others trying to get up there. But in general, most people avoid it. Your really only danger here is the environment itself. I trust you. Your experience with the land, Shaho, and Marigold, your experience with sound. And Kai, you have such a thrill for all of this. I really don't doubt that you'll have a smashing time. And Zasa, there's so much for you to learn here. I think that, it, as much as I'm sending you there for my own purpose, I think, you could enjoy it, as crazy as that sounds. And as always, there will be treasure. Dangerous places collect it.
Hi.
Yes.
You're wearing plate armor, right?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
We're going to need to work out some acoustic dampening. Thankfully, I'm a little bit versed in that. But we don't want you, say, falling down the cliff and... It's for your protection, darling, really. But are we supposed to head off immediately? Or...
Well, I mean, you can rest the night. It's not that pressing, but it is fairly pressing. I would recommend resting, getting your strength here, or outside of the woods, probably preferably. And then heading out.
Yes.
There will be places along the way to trade. Use your gold. I'm sure you'll be able to pick up some lovely things. And I do have 2 other very special gifts for you. And she goes back to her bag and she pulls out 2 scrolls and a very special bag. The scrolls, she unrolls one, shows it specifically to Zasa, but to everyone as well. This is a scroll of enlarge reduce. You can use this to shrink whatever piece you find. It has been tweaked a bit by my superiors to allow any spellcaster to cast it of any level. All you need to do is, complete the steps, and it should shrink whatever you find. You have to, just in case you mess it up or need to use it for something else. But, try to use it sparingly. They're not cheap. And then she pulls out the bag. This is a bag of holding. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yes. I've seen them before.
Good.
I've heard of them. Aren't they terribly expensive?
They are. This is very much me investing in you. I don't think I'll be able to get to the peaks. I won't be able to get there in time. I want you to take whatever piece you find. I want you to shrink it and put it in this bag. This bag will be returned to me. But you will find other great things, and maybe there'll be a bag of holding in your future if you keep doing this. Basically, we need a way to transport the stuff. I can't come to you every single time. It's not going to work. But
it barely worked this time.
Well, we're in a forest.
Exactly. And it will be more pressing in the mountains. There'll be less trees, less of an easy way for you to get a hold of me. I don't expect you to run into, the danger of others, but there is danger there. And I'd rather you be able to, get the piece and get out of there instead of, staying in the mountains where making a sound can get you killed. So these gifts, use them wisely. I will be taking the bag back once all is said and done, but maybe we can work something out. Maybe my superiors have something extra. I'll have to file some expense reports. Regardless, use these and let me know if you have any questions.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
So, how long does this enlarge reduce spell scrolls work?
A very good question. After you have you've shrunk the piece to put it into the bag of holding, you have roughly 5 days to get it back to me.
That's good to know.
After which, will it become too large for the bag of holding to contain, explode, and kill us all?
Basically, yes. But what you can do to avoid that is if you think you're not going to reach me in the 5 days, use the second scroll. Reduce, keep it small. You just have to plan accordingly. Take it out of the bag, make it tiny again, and then put it back in the bag before it grows, explodes, etc., etc. I honestly don't know how big the piece you're getting is going to be, but I'm hoping that this solution works. If it doesn't work, well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We don't need to worry about that now.
Are these now? I don't know how to do this personally, but are these potentially things that Zasa could put in her book? She could learn the spell herself. I don't know if you're capable of casting it, darling, but I've seen people do that before, where they take scrolls and copy them.
Actually, I see that Zaza is wearing a rather peculiar bracer.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think with that bracer, you can copy this spell scroll into the bracer, and you will get an extra use out of it. It won't be good forever. It'll only be good once you use it once, but that will give you 3 uses of Enlarge Reduce.
Oh, wow. There you are.
And after that point, we can always get more. As long as you can make it back to me in one piece, I can get you more of these. It's just I was in a bit of a rush the first time because you were dying. Try not to do that.
Oh, I don't make a habit of it, darling. Don't worry.
Any other questions? Any other concerns? I believe you. I believe in you. I think you can do this.
I did have one, but it's quite slipped my mind. I'm a bit bleeding, you see.
Oh yes. Well, rest here, or leave the force first. I'll escort you out. I'll escort you out. We'll make sure you get out without a scratch on you. You can take a rest, and we can go from there. She does start escorting you out. She brings Riasa with her. It's a bit of a struggle, but she does use some magic to make it a little bit easier to move something significantly bigger than her. And Caravan is over there helping her.
I hiss at Riasa.
Riasa mumbles some more.
I hiss at her too. It's not very impressive.
We all hiss at Riasa.
Bitch. Sorry.
That's all right.
Say it in Elven.
Okay, so you are able to do anything you would do during a short rest. You are, allowed to relax. Basically, you're moved back out of the woods, just outside of it again, like we were the last time. Here, let me move you. We'll pretend this camp is our camp.
Oh, we lost someone.
Oh, did we lose someone?
We lost Asa.
Oh no! Hey, Bevan. Let me message him. I think we lost Hiromi.
Oh,
Hello,
there we go.
Hiromi.
All right.
We will have to rearrange cameras. When you're rearranging, Bevan, you can do map screen first because we will be on map screen. Let me turn down the sound. It's a little loud even for me.
There is one thing I would like to do during the short rest, and I need to speak to Zasa, but that can wait for a second.
Yes. Okay, there we go. I made that quieter. So, you're all just back outside the forest, setting up camp.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, you can, do what you will. Sina does leave and takes Caravan with her, and they go with Riasa to, just get out of here. The rest of you, just set yourselves up as you are. You basically just put yourselves to full health. You have enough time to rest to do so. Oh, yes, Bevan, we are on the encampment map now, just while they rest, and you can put us to no map screen. Yeah, no problem. Alrighty, so do what you will on this break.
First things first, I'm going to approach Zasa, and I believe she has the cloak of protection with the Mormo designs on it.
Yes.
Since I am a performer, I'm going to take some cloth out of my bag, some extra It's not silk, but it's nice enough. And I'm going to take up some measurements pretty quickly, and then make sort of a shell over the cloak itself. So it has the designs covered, so it looks like it's two pieces of fabric. Like it'll have the hood, but then the designs on the cloak back will be covered, and that way Zasa can wear it without attracting undue attention, if you're all right with that.
I am all right with that, but I will ask for a roll.
Sure.
I don't think you probably don't have like tools that would necessarily help you with that, right?
I've got a tattoo kit, and I assume I have some needles with me. So
Yeah. Okay. So what you can do is roll just a straight d20. But since you have needles, I'll let you roll with advantage because you're not just, doing this
Okay.
completely blank.
19.
19. You do it well. You're able to cover the cloak with a kind of like a false cloak over it. It's enough that anybody looking at it straight off isn't going to notice that it is a Mormo cloak. But if there is if it gets damaged, you will be able to see it beneath it. Or if anyone looks really closely, they might be able to spot the designs and know something's not quite right with it, but they wouldn't know exactly what that was.
Okay. There. Now you don't have to take it off. Get you some protection. Everybody got beaten up of it. Are you all right? That was horrible.
It didn't actually hit me.
No.
They tried to really hard, though.
Kai, are you breathing? Are you okay? I know you're very enthusiastic, but I was quite worried.
Oh, yeah, I hurt kind of everywhere at the moment, but it's great.
Right. Do I have Song of Rest yet?
I don't know, do you?
I do, 2nd level.
Then you can definitely use that if you like.
Unfortunately, my throat's killing me in real life. So I'm not going to be doing too much singing, but I will, while we're resting, I will use my Song of Rest so that you all get an extra 1d6 hit points.
Nice.
Of niceness to your hit die. So whatever you expend at the end of that. Marigold's going to sit down and actually tune up their lyre.
Oh.
And just sit and play you guys something lovely. I'm so tired. So imagine something beautiful that I am not currently completely capable.
That's all right.
of
That's all right.
So.
Does anyone else want to do anything in particular during this rest before you head out?
There you go.
Zas is going to examine the spyglass more carefully. Sorry. Zas is going to examine the spyglass more carefully and see what, if anything, she can do to repair it.
Okay. I would like you to just roll an investigation check. Okay, 12. You see that the lens definitely needs to be replaced. You think that it would probably require a special lens of some sort, something that would help kind of amplify the magic. Because right now the magic itself is kind of coming from the body of the spyglass itself and it's not going into the lens because the lens is broken. It doesn't meet all the way, and then whatever effect it's supposed to do isn't happening. If you want to roll another Arcana check, we can see if you might learn a little more. Hey, very good. So, you know that this material is probably something that you could find. It would be difficult to find, but you could probably find it with another spellcaster, someone who maybe deals in magical objects. They might have the means to replace it. Or you could check with a group that is in Derekine. Let me get their name real fast because I never remember how to say it, and I'm probably going to say it wrong. The Phylacteric Vault. The Phylacteric Vault is a group where there is lots of magical study, and you think that if out of anybody, they would definitely have the stuff to replace this, make it work again, and they would probably be able to help you figure out exactly what it does. So Phylacteric Vault are some people you'd want to go see.
Okay.
Alrighty. Oh, go ahead.
They're not at all on on the way, are they?
They're not. They are out of the way for now. It is a place that you think you'd definitely be able to go, but not right now. And it is somewhere that's, in Derrakeen, but it's, I believe it's further north. I would have to double check. Whereas you're going more south than you are north right now. Which actually, let me just pull up the main map. Let me pull you guys to the map real fast. Boop. Okay, so on the map, you know that you have to go here. Let me make sure I'm doing this in a way you can see this. So you need to go here to the Gascar Peaks. And right now you're here in the Warring Woods. So the best way is to probably go, kind of southeast, cross into the Akrudin Desert, and then go back up because the Murmur Pass goes straight through there. The other option is the Fouled Forest, but I feel like you've all probably had enough of forests and probably don't want to go that way.
Is it more direct?
It's not necessarily more direct. Both ways are about as direct as each other. But the Fouled Forest is definitely kind of spells out more bad news than the Akrudin Desert does. The Akrudin Desert is a pretty okay place. It's a desert. There are, wandering bands of Ironbred who live there, some redeemed, some who are not redeemed, who would be known as the Sutek. But on the whole, this upper corner is going to be pretty safe. Oftentimes, people move from the Akrudin Desert into Derrakeen, and that's part of the reason why Derrakeen is more diverse than some other places, because people from the desert have, come to live up here. So you'd be pretty familiar more so with the desert than with the Fouled Forest, which is a pretty nasty place.
Well,
I want to take one of the vials and dip some arrows into one of the new vials of poison.
Alrighty, you can definitely do that. You won't know what it does unless somebody studies it, but you'll definitely see what it does once you use it.
How many arrows would you like to give me?
For one vial of poison, I'd say the vials are probably around this big. They're not very big, but your arrowheads aren't very big either. I'll say you can get 4 arrows this time.
4 unknown poison arrows.
Yeah, we'll figure out what they do later.
nice.
That's a secret for later. Alrighty. Anything else anybody wants to do?
Get this glitter out of my eyes.
Marigold, do you have any more of that fabric?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I'll pull out the rest of it. However, left. DMs.
So I was thinking. Okay.
I would say you have probably.
So you were saying. Okay.
Oh, sorry, that's being really squirrely.
I know it is. It's driving me crazy. So you're saying that I need to be quieter. So I was thinking if like all of the edges that sort of rub entirement fabric on a few of those edges to dampen that sound a bit, maybe.
DM, do I have enough fabric to actually wrap the plate completely, like each piece, or do I have enough to do the edges only?
No, just the. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you would have enough to do the edges, but after doing the covering the cloak, you wouldn't be able to do the full item, just the edges.
No, the edges are better than nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we can do that. Do you want me to do it, or would you like to do it? I'm gonna hand you the cloth.
I mean, probably do it faster if we do it together.
Oh, right. Yes, I'll sit down with you and do that then. So.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Roll a d20 for me again.
Right. I don't really know anything about armor, honestly.
Yeah, that's
So-
why that one is just at a. 19.
I'm having a good day.
Rolling well.
Hey.
So yeah, you don't know anything really about armor, but something tells you that if you lay this fabric in just the right way, it'll create enough dampening that Kai isn't going to clink like crazy as you're climbing a mountain. Maybe you have a fond thought of January, and you're like, oh, fabric.
This fabric was actually his, so
Yeah, so maybe,
he gave it to me.
Oh,
No, good riddance to bad news, frankly. I would rather use it for something useful rather than frippery.
Is there still a bit of fabric left?
how
there?
much are you looking for?
Well, I was thinking that I could use some of the fishing line from my tackle kit, and I could kind of ball it up to make earplugs.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'd say there's
Oh.
enough cloth for that. And I think even if there wasn't, you could find enough cloth for that. You're all wearing clothes for the most part. You can probably, get enough cloth to make little earplugs for yourselves.
That's
Well,
a good idea.
actually, I'll kind of self clean, and I'll use some of my fur as well.
Hey, that works too. But yeah, earplugs, great idea. Yeah, I would
If we're
say
doing earplugs, Zasa has a scholar's kit, so she almost certainly has wax for
Perfect.
like sealing.
That'd be
Feeling
great,
wax,
Salsa.
yeah. We
Good
can figure
idea.
out something, yeah.
So I think you all, you between all of you, you definitely have a way to create some earplugs. It's something that you can definitely get ready. You wouldn't want to put them in yet. Obviously, that would probably put you at a bit of a disadvantage for.
Maybe before the bagpipes.
No, I'm.
But-
Don't
earplugs
worry.
for the bagpipes.
You will have ample warning before I do anything like that. So.
So I think that's probably it, unless someone has anything else they'd like to try and do during this little rest.
No, I think we should. What time is it actually in game?
In game, I'd probably say that it was night during the battle in the forest.
Okay.
But it's probably by the time you've rested, it's getting close to morning. You're able to do all your things, get to sleep. You might wake up a little bit later than you usually would. Because, it was a long night.
Yes, it was. Right. Okay.
You all wake up.
Okay, long rest.
You feel refreshed and ready for the day. You know that you do have a long journey ahead of you. And, it's probably wise to go through the desert. You can definitely choose to go into the forest if you really want to, but I don't recommend it. And I would have nothing prepared for that. I'd be picking up as I go along. But what you do know is that it's going to take you a little while to even get near the forest. You probably have about a day's journey, or here, let me look at that map again, just myself. I'd say you have about probably a 2-day journey if you're taking it easy, which you don't feel you're in a massive rush. You can take it easy. But you can go faster if you want to get to the desert quicker. On the way, you will be passing a couple of towns. You will pass Wayside, Trum, Ethelwald, and Meliad. All of these are different towns that you could stop in if you wanted to get more supplies, spend some of your gold. It'll certainly be something that you can do along the way. If you like, I can pull up and give you a little bit more info about these towns if we have any, but I'm not certain how much town info we have. So give me just a moment here.
Very important mission when we get to whatever town you want to stop in. I'm going to find Shaho a collapsible box.
Incredibly important. Shaho definitely needs a box.
No, absolutely no. That is Marigold's top priority.
Okay, let me look at
Bigger
these
than this one. Bigger
like
than
one-
my small box.
Yes, one that she can actually curl up in. Like one
Yes,
that's
please.
like about 5 feet by 5 feet maybe. Is that big enough?
I can get smaller. I can fit in many spaces.
Well, if we get one that collapses down, we can maybe line it with some pillows or something. Somewhere comfortable for you to sleep.
Oh.
I'm feeling the love here.
Look, I've been thinking about that for the last 2 frickin' weeks. I will get this cat a box.
Making sure the cat has a box. You know what? I support that.
Whatever town you guys want to stop in is up to you, but Marigold is on a mission.
I'm just checking one last thing here. I don't think many of these towns are mentioned, so I'm going to make it up as I go along. So Wayside is a kind of a port town. It is right next to the coast. If you want to go somewhere that will give you a lot of mercantile trade opportunities, Wayside would be a good one. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more on the naturey side of things, something that you might be able to find more survival gear, things like that, you might want to check out Trum because it is it's more of a forester. It's more of like a foresting outpost kind of town. Ethelwald would be where you would want to go if you were looking for something more academic. It's not like a major hub of academics or anything, but it does have a rather large library. And then Meliad. Yes, the library. And then there is Meliad, which is on the it's just before the desert. It's a very multicultural, like bustling metropolitan area. It is, in a sense, it's near a river. It's not, a port town by any means. It is smaller than Wayside, but it is probably the place in this area that would have the most diverse cultures, things like that. You might be able to find information of a more broader array. You might be able to find goods that are maybe more suited for the desert, just because it is so close. So that'd probably be Meliad.
As an aside, or perhaps useful information, Meliad is the capital city for Derakeen.
Good to know. So yeah, definitely a very varied place then. You could probably find almost anything in Meliad, besides specifically things you could only find in a port town like Wayside.
Up to you guys.
Meliad might be our best bet for hitting a bunch of diverse items Is there anything anyone specifically would like to purchase or anything? I think we should definitely get some more water if we're going to the desert, and I know about my box.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to need extra water skins, we're going to need supplies, we're going to need sunscreen of some sort. I am very pale, I do not take the sunlight well. Can I find a parasol anywhere in Meliad?
I think you most certainly can. There's certainly going to be some tailors, some haberdasheries. I think a capital city would certainly have a pretty good market area.
Zasa, now there is a library in that other place. Would you rather go there? We might be able to, swing through if you're curious.
Yes. I of course understand that Meliad's more practical, but there's a library.
Well, did we have to get there in a hurry? Or could we maybe do like a little road trip where we go through the nature city and then the library and then to Meliad?
This sounds like the best idea.
I think as long as you weren't spending too much time in each city, you could probably stop in each one.
Okay.
It would be the case of you'd probably only have a couple hours. It's like when you are, on a road trip and you're traveling and you have to get somewhere, but you can, stop off, check out a couple sites, maybe go in a store or two. You would have to be pretty specific about the thing you want to do in each city, though, because dilly-dallying too long is a good way to make it so you kind of lose your vision on where you're actually going.
Right, well, I think we could afford a few hours in a library for Zasa, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
We need to keep our wizard well read. That's what you lot do, right?
It is.
Do we want to do anything specifically so I'm horrible with names right now, sorry. What are the names of the cities again? I am so sorry, DM.
Oh, no problem. I actually still have it up. Wayside, which is a port town. Trum, which is more of a forester town. Ethelwald, which has that big library, and Meliad, which is the actual capital of Derakeen, a pretty varied and diverse city.
All right, so we don't really need to go to Wayside for anything. But Trum, we could pick up some wilderness supplies. That's Shaho's expertise. And then Ethelwald for Zasa. And then Meliad for the rest of us.
That sounds good to me.
All right, wow.
Yeah.
Trum first
go.
then.
Alrighty, with your plan in place, you are able to head out for Trum. It's not very far from where you are at all. It's maybe a couple hour walk. as you get into the city. It's kind of folksy is, I guess, the word I would use. It has like lots of wood buildings, specifically instead of like stone or other materials. Lots of things built out of logs and such like that. You see that there is a tavern. There is a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a stable. There is a general goods store that looks pretty large. Like it looks like it probably serves the surrounding areas as well. People who are living outside of Trum and only come in for short periods of time to pick up goods. You do see that there's a fair amount of houses, but there's not as many houses as you would expect for a city big enough to appear pretty largely on a map. So you can kind of assume that maybe most of the residents of Trum actually don't live there. They, live outside the city in the wilderness and come in to get their goods and then leave again. It's pretty bustling this time of morning. You see a lot of people in ranger gear, a lot of horses, a lot of individuals who look pretty rough and tumble. Everyone is in a pretty good mood, but they're all going about their business, doing their own thing, busy getting whatever it is they need from this town, and they don't really notice a group of adventurers like yourselves. So what do you think you do first?
Okay.
You go to the general goods store, you go to the horses.
Oh, horses, right. Could probably afford some of those. Though horses in the desert seems like a bad idea.
Ooh,
We've got
yeah.
lizards. Like riding lizards.
You could maybe find riding lizards, maybe, if you know the right people.
Well, the thing is if we bring horses, we're going to need to bring water for them.
Yeah.
Water and feed for them, and that's quite a lot.
Are we close enough to the desert?
What was that?
Neviad might have riding lizards.
I think that is something you might find better in another city.
So for now, we can just get the basics, like the rations and whatnot.
Right.
We could also get fresh cooked food. After all, food is like books, but for the brain, for the belly.
I think a quick meal might be okay.
All right.
Actual
Yeah.
food
We can eat
rather
really
than
quickly, get some stew or something.
Maybe there's a
So-
street vendor.
Street food. Sorry.
So are you looking for a street vendor then, for
Yes.
some tasty
Yes.
meals? All right, I'd like everyone to roll an investigation check to see what kind of street vendor you find for some tasty food.
Oh God.
Okay. Oh, Marigold, you don't want to eat what you find.
I'm sure you're working very hard, but how can I say? I immediately catch up to Shaw.
So, Nasa, you find what looks to be, like a fairly standard looking kind of like kebab vendor. They have, some food on sticks. It looks good. People are leaving happy. It looks pretty tasty. Shaho, you also see the kebab vendor, but you do see that there is another vendor that seems to only have like a selection of like wines and ales. It's kind of like a weird thing, but a bunch of foresters are in town. They're gonna get crunk. And so this, even though there's a tavern, that is full to the bursting, and people are actually just going up to this little vendor for booze, essentially, even before they go into the tavern. So it looks like it'd probably be pretty tasty if you're looking for anything to imbibe in. Kai, you find what looks to be probably the fanciest of the street vendors, which isn't saying much. It is still a street vendor, but it offers a wide variety of foods. You can pick like some meat pies, you can get some veggies, you can get like this strange dish that's in a bowl. You don't know exactly what it is, but it seems to be made with some sort of grain, some sort of meat. It looks like it might be kind of like a stir fry of some sort. It looks like it was probably cooked on like a flat top kind of cooking situation. It all smells incredibly delicious.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna grab whatever's in that bowl.
Okay, you're going for the bowl. Alrighty. So for the bowl, you see that the price is
Yes.
1 gold piece. With it you get just you can get some water too, but they don't really offer drinks at the stall. 1 gold piece for the tasty weird
Yeah.
stir fry dish.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Alrighty, you hand over your
Going
gold. They hand
kebabs.
over a steaming bowl. Okay, who is going kebabs?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty, do we have 3 kebabs? So for anybody getting kebabs, it looks like a pretty well-traveled vendor. You see that the kebabs are 3 silver, and they're pretty hearty, but they're you might want to get a couple if you're really hungry because they're only about this big and they have meats and veggies.
I
on
want 5.
Holy crap.
Okay, you can totally get 5. Take off the required amount of money, and you buy them out for a couple minutes. The rest have to wait. As they hand you 5, and they're like, "Okay, you certainly hungry, I guess." And then the rest of you are able to get some after about a 5-minute wait.
I'll get whatever
Right.
Kai got because, yeah.
Okay. So you get the grain stir fry with meat and veggies.
Mhm.
1 gold piece. It is tasty. It smells delicious, and I'm sure you're all probably pretty happy to have real food that isn't trail rations. I imagine even the fancy trail rations is just not warm.
Mhm.
In between like mouthfuls of kebab, I'm gonna ask the street vendor about all like the shops and what might be best for like just the general items that we're looking for.
Okay. So the vendor's like, "Oh yeah, I can help you out there. If you're looking for your general supplies, if you're looking for, trail rations, climbing gear, if you're looking for some water skins, we've got that down at the good old general store. Ask for Pete. He certainly knows his way around the store and he'll be able to help you out. If you're looking for a mount, we've got a great stable, some of the best horses in Darrakeen, let me tell you. But we did have a big group of adventurers come through a bit ago. They took some of those out, so we might not have a big selection right now. We'll get
How
some
long
more later.
ago?
Oh, when were they here? They bought just about as many kebabs as you did. About 5 days ago now. They got some kebabs and what else did they do? Oh well, I'm just blathering.
Oh no, tell me.
No, you flatter an old coot. Okay, well, they caused a bit of a ruckus in the tavern, but I don't think they meant well. Maybe they did. Maybe they're just a rowdy bunch. From what you can tell, Shaho, it seems like maybe the vendor's telling tales, but there is a grain of truth. There was some adventurers who came into town, and they kind of cleared out some supplies for a while. The vendor continues, "Well, I didn't see which way they went, but whichever way they went, I'm sure has got trouble coming. I'm just hoping they left town. I haven't seen them for a few days, but those adventuring types. I just stay here and sell my kebabs."
They're very good.
"Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Come by anytime. Maybe I'll give you one on the house."
Oh,
What is this accent? I love it. I'm here for it.
Right.
Basically, just a weird Midwestern
Super.
Northern thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. You betcha.
It's like Swedish light.
Yeah. It's what I went for.
Nice.
So yeah, there were some adventurers that came through. The vendor doesn't know where they went, but they don't seem to be around anymore, or at least they're not causing trouble anymore. The vendor continues on. Well, now, if you're looking for some new cloaks, we have a little, we have a seamstress in town. She does a good job, but she doesn't have the best materials. Don't tell her I told ya. But we don't really have the nice fancy fabrics around here. So it's good sturdy working man's clothes is what I'm telling you. And it's great if you're going rock climbing or if you're going in the woods. But don't take it to a fancy party. Just don't tell her I said that, okay? Between you and me.
You have my word.
Oh good. Bernice can be a bit of a bear, let me tell you. That's about all he has to say. There are some other shops, but nothing's really like super interesting. He just goes on like, oh yeah, my brother lives right down the way. Oh, he's something else. You don't want to see him. You don't want to find him on a bad day, let me tell you. And he just, he kind of keeps going. But the main thing.
Oh, it looks like your other kebabs are ready, so I won't take up your other customers' time.
Oh yeah, no, come back anytime. I gotta tend to my customers. My life's work, selling kebabs. Okay, see you later now.
I love this person so much. Marigold's just standing by like, huh.
Are you gonna grab a kebab, Marigold?
Oh no, I got this bowl of whatever this is. This is amazing. Yeah, have some. I'll share because Marigold doesn't eat that much. He probably should eat more, but he doesn't.
I will definitely try some. I am very food motivated.
This is good to know.
Food and cardboard box motivated. Got it.
Can you summon Shahog by going pss, 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 pss?
Someone call me?
No, sorry, just checking. That's amazing, isn't it? You can have the rest.
I am gonna scarf it down in like one bite.
All right, so you're all able to get a lovely meal. You're feeling, pretty good. You're feeling ready to go about your day and your shopping. Does anyone plan to visit Bernice the seamstress, or are you all just going to head to Pete the general store, or are you going to head to the stable? You didn't catch the stableman's name.
We should probably go for Pete. Apparently some
I'll meet at the general store real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other adventurers took all the good horses anyway.
Wow, we don't want horses anyway, don't we?
Right, we want lizards.
If we can find them.
Lizards are pretty great.
They are. Lizards are lovely. They're so pretty.
Okay, so you are able to go into town and get to the main general store. The food stands were kind of a little bit outside of the main area, kind of speckled around like as you're coming in, very much as a way of like, hey, you just got here? I bet you're starving. But the general store is a bit more centrally located. You see that there's people going in and out. They are very no-nonsense sorts of people. No one's particularly friendly, but they're not unfriendly either. They're just doing their thing. The building itself is large, made of wood, kind of log cabiny, but it looks like there's been some haphazard extensions on it. Like they've just kept adding rooms and parts of the building as they ran out of room to keep stuff. You think you could probably find just about anything you need here in the realm of this sort of good. You're not going to find, fancy gold rings or anything, but, you're going to find rations, you're going to find picks, you're going to find tents, you're going to find just about anything you can need in that regard. As you go inside, you see the place is just as bustling. You're not able to get up to the counter immediately unless you do a little bit of something fancy to do so, just because there is quite a line.
Yo, Pete, you in here?
Yep. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, where I always am. Behind the counter. That's where I am. I'm busy though, and he goes back to ringing at the register. Pete is a big burly dude. He looks kind of lumberjacky. If lumberjacks are a thing in this setting. Who knows? He has short shorn hair. It's a little bit graying. He has kind of a dour expression on his face. But he's also haggling, with his customers. They seem to like him, but he seems like a guy it takes a while to get to know. You overhear him talking to, the forester in front of him. Well, looks like you're a bit short here, bud. And the Forester's like, well, you see, can't we have a deal? We've known each other for so long, Pete. And Pete's response, yeah, but I need my money. And it seems like Pete's not budging. The line keeps going. Are you going to look around the store for anything in particular right now? Or are you going to wait to talk to Pete himself? You might be able to find what you're looking for without him, but it is a big building.
We need water skins. I want a good sturdy pair of gloves, sunscreen, and maybe some wide brim hats.
Good. Okay. So you do see that there is just a stand of water skins. Like they are literally right next to the door. So that's easy enough to find. You see that there are some hats behind the counter. They look a little bit nicer than maybe what you were expecting, but they are wide brim. They would suit. They seem to be made of a sturdy looking leather. It might be a little bit warm, but it would definitely protect you from the sun. For the other stuff, I'd like you to roll an investigation check.
I am distracted. There's a lot in here.
There is. You are wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you're like, the things. There's a lot of things. You don't find the other stuff you're looking for just yet. You will probably have to ask Pete. Is anyone else looking for anything in particular they think they might be able to find?
Can I find like a light scarf?
Yeah, so
on my face when we hit the desert.
Yeah, you're looking around. You see that there is a wall that has like some scarves on it, and it has some like bandanas, things like that. It's clearly like stuff that's meant for if you're needing to breathe in kind of compromised air, smoke, dust, etc., etc. It's along the back wall. There isn't a wide variety of colors. It's mostly greens, browns, and kind of like pale beiges. But if you're looking for a particular color, you can certainly give it a shot by rolling an investigation check.
A red one somewhere in there.
A red one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. With a 15, you could definitely find a red one. It's kind of buried behind some of the beige ones, but you see a little peak of crimson. And as you dig back there, you're able to pull out a long crimson scarf. It's a lovely color, and it'll definitely work for your purposes.
It's a good color.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else anyone particularly wants to try before they can get up to Pete? It looks like the line is winding down. You are getting closer right now. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, Marigold was saying this is not his wheelhouse. He's just looking around at things, sort of following other people around.
Okay. So you get up to Pete, and Pete's like, haven't seen you around here. Got a lot of new people in. Anyway, you got some stuff here already. You looking for anything else? Big store.
Sunscreen.
Oh, yes, yeah, I do have that. Oh, hold on. Where did I? Yes. He points to the way back. You see that there is a little section that's in one of the like shoddy, like just put together places that has an array of little like bottles. You don't really see any signage that says that what it is, but according to Pete, that is sunscreen. And there also looks to be some larger bottles that might be something else.
Okay, I'll grab a couple of small bottles of sunscreen.
Okay. Okay, yep, sunscreen, all right, and I see you have the water skins. How many are you getting? How many water skins?
How many do we need, guys?
Lots.
One for each of us, and then backups. We're going... Well,
so two additional ones per person?
Well, humans can drink... Let's see, if we're in the desert going to be dehydrated, I don't really actually know any of this. This is all Rune. I'll shut up.
Or
I'll do a survival check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Survival.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're able to figure that with the amount of time you're going to be in the desert, you're going to be in the desert for, let's see, probably like 2 days. If you're doing the the generally advisable thing, traveling at night so as to avoid the bright sun, but not traveling too late into the night because it gets cold. So doing kind of a dusk till a little bit later. It'll be about 2 days. 2 days, you figure, 2 water skins apiece is probably fine. If you think you'll need extra, you might be able to barter for more along the way. There are many bands of traveling ironbred in the area.
But we should already have one. So if we get 2
yeah.
more, that's like 3 per person. So that should be about good.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 water skins.
Okay.
And I want a wide brim hat. Does everyone want a wide brim hat?
Already have
You said the ones
Oh, yes. The dragon hat.
here were leather?
Yeah, that's a bit heavy.
No, I think I'll wait, see if I can find something a little lighter.
Okay, I'll go for... what is my weight at? Yeah, I'll go for 1. I'll get a hat for me.
There's no parasol in here, is there?
So you don't see a parasol, but you do see Pete pause for a minute, and he's like, parasol. And then he turns to somebody who's like stalking in the way back. Hey, Jean. Oh, yeah. What you need there, Pete? Jean. Do we have parasols? What's a parasol? Do we have that? And you see Jean, he looks quite a bit like your kebab selling friend. This might be his brother. A parasol, maybe I think someone bartered for it. Yeah, I think someone traded us one. It was a frilly thing. Yeah, it was real frilly. You put it in the back and you were like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Don't you remember that, Pete? Don't you remember you were like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Just like that. That's what you sounded like now. And you see Pete like rolling his eyes. He clearly doesn't actually like Jean. And he's like, right. Yeah. Be right. Yeah. 1 minute. And he goes into the back. You hear some banging, some crashing, some weird like squawking sound. And you're like, why is a bird back there? And then, he comes back out and he has a kind of like frilly parasol. It's, it has some pink accents. It's mainly like a white and gray number with some nice, detailing around the edges. Looks like it has a little bit of wear and tear on it. The handle's a little bit scuffed up, but it looks like someone probably traded it for something, a little bit more adventure-y as they were going out into the wilderness.
Oh, fantastic. That'll work. I can work with that.
Oh, and then a pair of leather work gloves.
Oh, yep. He leans down and actually pulls a big box of work gloves out from underneath. It looks like they hadn't restocked yet, but they have a whole box of work gloves. You can basically take your pick.
Okay, so I'll grab a pair I like, and then I'll like push them down and then push my claws through them.
Well, that's certainly one way to wear them.
That's awesome.
You do see that he grabs one of the hats off the back. You said you wanted this, right? The hat.
Yeah, something to keep the sun out of the eyes. We're going to the desert.
It'll be a little warm, but it'll certainly work. I mean, you already have fur. You're used to being warm, right? It's probably fine. Here you go. And he just kind of like smacks it down on the counter. Very like no nonsense kind of guy. And then he turns to Kai. You said you were looking for a lighter hat, something a little bit breezier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I know we have them. Where did we? Hey, Jean. Oh, yeah, boss. Where did we put the lighter hats, the ones that came in, last week, on the caravan? Oh, I don't quite remember now. Oh yeah. Okay. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to go into the back again, and you're gonna have to look under the chest. You know, the one that we say, oh, don't look under that one. There's never nothing good in there. And then it's gonna be in a box that is titled hats. And that's where I put it because it seemed like the best place to put it, you know. And then you see Pete just rolling his eyes. You could have just stocked it. You could have put it on the floor. We have people looking for these hats every day, Jean. Like literally every day. Oh well, you know, I wanted to save it for just the right customers. And look at this little band of adventurers. Don't they just look adorable? They'll look great in some of these hats. Aren't you glad I saved them? And Pete's like, I'm gonna go get those hats for you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go get them. And he goes in the back and he like slams the door behind him. Like he doesn't know why he hired this man.
Pete's in the back. I want to talk to Jean.
I think everybody wants to talk to Gino.
I'm surprised that you didn't decide to investigate the box of gloves.
It was full of gloves.
You can push them onto the floor.
Pete's kind of scary. I'll be on my best behavior here.
Gina comes over, you know, because he was just calling you all very cute and adorable adventurers. Oh well, hello there. You're a just a real adorable group now. I am so pleased to meet you. I am Jean. So pleased to meet you. He you know, sends his hand around for everybody to shake if they will.
Adventurer groups through here, Jean?
Oh, you know, a fair amount. A lot of the people we see are, you know, the foresters, the rangers. But we get a good old band every once in a while. You know, they sometimes cause a ruckus, sometimes they don't. You don't look like the ruckus sorts.
Of course not. What's the last adventurer group you saw?
Oh, they were quite the troublemakers. Oh, my brother told me all about them. I didn't see them much. You know, I was working like I do, you know, here 24/7. But, you know, I heard they made quite a mess in the tavern. And then, oh, you don't even know. They were trying to just take the horses. But, you know, my good friend Mike, he wasn't having that. He was not interested in that at all. And so he stopped them from doing that. But, you know, they still haggled them down real low. And I don't know how they did that. Those were some good horses. Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Oh, my God.
Well, there won't be any trouble from us.
Oh, good. You know, if there's any trouble at all, I'm going to have to, you know, you know.
I am delighted by this, but I think we're waiting on hats. I'm going to have a look around for a collapsible box, because this guy's terrifying.
Roll an investigation check for me.
Sure, I can do that. Investigation. Oh, 4.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'll try in the next town.
There's plenty of towns to find boxes. Plenty of towns. You're okay.
I'm looking for a collapsible box now. This is a special box.
Yes, you might be able to find a collapsible box in Etherwald or Meliad. They have a pretty good selection. I don't think you'd find one here.
No collapsible box. All right.
Not here.
I'll come back to Shaho. Well, they don't have one, but I'll keep looking. I've heard stories.
And even if there was one, I think only Jean would know where it is.
This place is a rat's nest, exactly.
Yeah. So Pete finally comes out of the back. He's like carrying this like big awkward box. It doesn't look heavy because it's just full of hats, but you see that he's like covered in dust and cobwebs, and it's really weird because this box has only been here like a week. He plops it down and he's like, I found your hats. How many you need?
I need one for Carwin as well.
One here.
Okay. So are we looking at 4 of these and then, you know, 1 of the leather, or are you all getting these?
No, I'm taking the parasol, actually. So.
Okay, so just a parasol for you. All right. So he's like, you know, like he's like writing things down like on a little pad of paper, doing some math. So we have 1 parasol, 3 3 of these hats that Jean, for some reason, put in the worst place in the world. Then we have a pair of gloves. We got how many water skins was that? 10 water skins. Okay, 10 water skins. We got the sunscreen. We got the leather hat. We forgetting anything? Did you folks have anything else? Quite a big order here.
Rations. Actually, we need more rations.
You need rations?
Oh, yeah.
Shaho, do we need more rations? Yes, is more your thing than mine.
We got some from our last thing.
Whoa, suddenly
We
Shaho's
got some
quiet.
standard trail rations, so maybe just 2 days and not get anything over.
Right, okay.
Okay, so you need 2 days of rations. All right, this is what I got. And he, like, goes over to the side. There's like a big shelf full of like little packages, and he just sets 2 down. They look okay. You know, they're definitely not the nice rations you had before, but they look serviceable. They look like what you'd use if you were going hiking on a trail.
Maybe just 1 day of the bad rations, and then we treat ourselves to some good rations in the next month.
That's fair.
He's like, all right, yeah, I know these are kind of shit. Don't tell Gene he's the one who bought them. He thinks they're the best thing in the world. All right. Okay, hold on. He goes, puts one back, just gets one. He starts packing everything up for you. And he's like, all righty, what we're looking at here. Let's see. I actually need to do some math here. Actually, since we are just about at our time, I'm going to say this is it. I'll calculate the exact math for you once we leave this actual stream, because I'm just going to have to sit here and do math to know how much you're getting. I don't know. So I would like to thank everybody for watching. You all did a great job. We didn't get to any of the maps I had planned, but that's okay. That means maybe Caravan can show up sooner and go with y'all. So to end out the night, I believe we will be having a show after this, so stick around. We'll either be raiding over or someone will be on right after. I'm not exactly certain. I forgot to double check. But after that, I know my home channel, Roll the Roll, has a Pathfinder 2e game today. Go check that out. It'll be later tonight. Then we have a Scarred Lands game tomorrow. Check that out. Just look me up as Manic Pixie Girl. My name is on the screen. I will be posting about it. And oh, yes. And during that stream, so for Roll the Roll's Twitch, follow me on Twitter to find more information. We will be giving out 2 PDFs tomorrow, one of Vigil Watch and one of Blood Sea for Scarred Lands. So if you'd enjoyed this, if you want more Scarred Lands, come check us out. You can win a copy and be able to play this game. It's really fun. And that's basically all I have. Oh, and then we'll have a Pathfinder 2e game on Roll the Roll on Sunday night as well. I'd like to go around for my players, each let them say a bit about themselves. We will go with Rune first, because you're right below me on the screen.
Oh, hey. Hey, what's up? Hi, guys. I'm Rune. I play Marigold. You can find me on Goldheart Gaming every other Monday, and you can find me on my Twitch stream doing a 5e game every Sunday at about 12:30 p.m. Central Standard. I also do art things. Follow me on Twitter at RuneSale and see the art. That's me.
Bravo, bravo. Candy, you're next.
Okay, yes, I'm Candy. I play Kai. I also DM for the Dicey Amazons. We have our 10th episode tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we play every other Sunday, and you can find me all over the place at Dicey Amazons since I run all social media.
All righty. Shawnee, you're up.
I am Shawnee, Showcat Cosplay. So if you want to see me dress up as all manner of things, just Showcat Cosplay across all social media. Also, if you're looking for some small streams to support, check out Hobble Dragon on Twitch, as well as Go Team AJ.
Very good. All righty, Hiromi. Last one.
Hi, I'm Hiromi. I play Sasa. I'm a writer. I have a number of books that are out. I have another one that's coming out in the next week or so. And I also want to plug all of the Seattle artists, vendors, creators, crafters, cosplayers, whatever, who don't get Emerald City Comic Con next weekend because our city is full of plague. So there are a number of people who were depending on the convention to, make rent and eat food. So I've stuck a link in the chat for many of those vendors so you can go check them out, maybe get something cool for yourself and help somebody not be kicked out on the street.
And I think that is a lovely message to end on. Yeah, definitely help out those creators if you can. It is a really bad situation with the con getting canceled. It is a really big one that a lot of people depend on. So yeah, check out that list. And finally, to put our own stuff in there, if you want to help support us, we do have a Ko-Fi. Check it out. And that is the end. Bevan, you can put us to the stream ending. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. It was a really good game.
Bye.
We'll be